So, moving on to our first topic, we are talking about Mill Creek Entertainment. Should probably put them up right here. Mill Creek Entertainment has actually licensed all of Ultraman. All of Ultraman. That's extremely nuts. They have licensed the entire, now I don't know if this includes the anime library, but the entire Ultraman library of the series and the films. So looking overall at the last 50 years, so over 1,100 episodes and 20 movies of Ultraman, they now have the license to all of it. But there are a few questions we do have to ask. I don't want to be this Debbie Downer, don't want to rain on the parade. But before we ask some of those questions, I want to mention that they're up on the screen because we currently have Ultraman, the original one, 66, and Ultra Q coming back out on both Blu-ray and DVD, yes, but specifically, actually, I'm sorry. No, not Blu-ray. All Blu-ray, although there is some cool Steelbook editions, but all Blu-ray. And what's interesting is this isn't an SD to Blu-ray thing. If you guys don't know what that is, there is a practice, and it's a good cost-saving measure, but there's a practice of taking SD files, stuff you'd find on Blu-rays, on DVDs, putting them onto a Blu-ray to save disc space, and also just because a 10, especially with something like Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, General Toku, 10 discs, which is custom, you need custom cases for that, could turn into a 2 Blu-ray disc kind of thing, which is super cheap in comparison. But it's still SD files. They're not in Blu-ray. They're not Blu-ray quality, HD quality. These are. So these are complete remasters. These are going to look real good, better than we have seen them in the States, I would argue, ever, if you are getting the the legal alternatives, the legal versions. So if you're importing, yes, there is Ultraman on Blu-ray in Japan and the same region too, which is cool. But either way, so Mill Creek has licensed everything. They're putting these two out first. They're coming out October 15th, and the standard edition is $40, and the Blu-ray edition is the limited steelbook rather is $50. So am I going to get these? Yes. That is without question. Yes, I want to support not only Ultraman, but I also want to support Tokusatsu in the US. So I already have the Ultraman original on DVD, but this is definitely going to look miles better than that. So I'm going to get it, and I still don't have Ultra Q, so bam, gonna pre-order that. But here are my concerns. And I am happy that looking at the article by Tokusatsu News Network, some of them actually have been somewhat answered. So Barrett Evans, VP of Marketing for Mill Creek, was quoted as saying, "We are excited to bring the Ultraman catalog of North American audiences through a multifaceted release model spanning Blu-ray and DVD, plus various TVOD, SVOD, and AVOD digital outlets." Now, what that's referring to is different forms of video on demand. So TVOD is referring to things like selling them digitally via like Apple, like iTunes or something like that, even through Amazon digitally, selling it, not so much subscription. SVOD does refer to subscriptions, however. So different services like Crunchyroll, Funimation, Amazon Prime, Netflix, things like that. And AVOD is actually something extremely interesting to look at, specifically due to the fact that I didn't actually look at that just yet. Damn it. I looked up the first two and I didn't look up AVOD before taking a look at this. But either way, what is very relevant, all jokes aside, right, is the fact that it doesn't seem like they are going to be taking this license and sitting on it, and I think that is what I worry about the most when it comes to any company whatsoever. I'm worried about monopolies, and I'm worried about companies buying the license to something and then just sitting on it and doing nothing, when other companies, I would argue, would do, I'm not say a better job, but would just actually make the product and put the releases out there. So thankfully, and he goes on, by the way, to say, in tandem with the classic series, we will also be releasing the more recent series and films to appease fans of both classic and modern Ultraman. Now, it's interesting because I know what is considered classic Ultraman. I still don't know what's considered modern Ultraman. Now, some of you are going to say, Matt, what are you talking about? There's current Ultraman running, and it's true, there are. But I don't know what's modern Ultraman because I look at my Ultraman Tiga DVDs, the Funimation ones, and go, but this is old? What? No. And then I'll realize it came out 20 years ago, and I'm like, but it's not classic. It's, oh God, how old am I? So I feel as if my voice just starts cracking. I feel as if But it's still good that they mentioned it. That's what matters. They mentioned that, hey, we aren't just gonna go back to the beginning. We're actually starting from there. Yes, because they've re-released it. They released it before. So actually, to be fair, I don't know if it's the best to start from the beginning. Maybe that's a Subaraya thing. I would have gone with something like Tiga because those sets are out of print and they are also aren't very good. Looking at the subtitles, a lot of errors. Not even between brackets of subs, just between episodes. Really, just trying to keep terms consistent. Like you would think it would be an issue kind of like with some stuff with Shout Factory where, oh, after every 13 maybe there's like a weird issue with a term or something. Usually that's like translator brackets, like you hire a translator for X amount of discs or X amount of episodes, like 10, maybe 13. But no, with Funimation's release, there were some really weird ones of Tiga. So wasn't interested. I mean, I have them, but kind of iffy. So would love to see that come out again. I think that I would argue that that's kind of like the, I don't know, I don't want to say the Kuga necessarily of Ultraman, because obviously Ultraman never stopped, technically. I mean, it did, but they always had those clip shows. I wonder what's going to happen to those clip shows. Those shows that are like, we're an Ultraman show, but really we just created a child, Ultraman Kid. And he's like, oh boy, I love looking at old clips of Ultraman. I wonder what they're going to do with those. Either way, the reason why I still have concerns though is because let's go over to Crunchyroll right now. So I have Crunchyroll up, and as of right now, we have Ultraman X, Ultraman Geed, Orb, Gaia, The Next. Oh wow, they added some stuff. I didn't even know they had The Next. Oh damn, the movie. Then they have Nexus, Ginga, Ultraman Max, Nexus, the show, Mebia. Wow, they added a lot more Ultraman than last time I checked. I thought they were actually removing them. Ultraman Fighting Evolution. Huh. Okay, so that's actually I'm kind of shocked that they actually have these. Anyway, so what I am getting at though is, although wait, no, I said Ultraman Fighting Evolution, that's a game. But my main point is that I'm a little nervous about once these rights are up, these get pulled, because while I would love to see Ultraman, in as many places as possible, and to be fair, Mill Creek probably paid Subaraya a lot of money. I know that some people, there's some debate on that because of how cheap the Blu-rays are, which I'd argue that's fair, but they paid so much for the rights to every single Ultraman ever, that they're going to want to make a return on that investment. So you would hope that if they can sub-license to Crunchyroll, to Netflix, to other companies that do streams and things like that, you would hope that they would do that if they can. The same way that I'm assuming, because of how cheap the Super Sentai discs are, and I know they might not seem that cheap, but compared to anime, they're very cheap. So with how cheap the Super Sentai sets are, I'm assuming in that case that Hasbro/Saban is sub-licensing that to Shout Factory. So I'm hoping that that they actually keep up with this the way that they say that they are, because you kind of worry. I mean, again, they put all that money in, but you worry that if for some reason, if something happens and there isn't as big of a return as they'd like, if they just end up finding that it's easier to stop at least the physical releases. And for me, I mean, I know disc rot exists, but still, I feel as if physical, I mean, it's obviously literally more tangible than digital. And with that scare that Crunchyroll had a while ago where we thought we were going to lose all of the Ultraman shows, it's a little worrisome to say the least. But either way, though, if they keep up the licenses, if they can sub-license, if they keep on releasing them, this is amazing. And also frequency as well does matter, I would argue. Again, I don't want to seem like I'm being super negative on this, but I do worry about the frequency, because I know it's been 5 years for Super Sentai with Shout Factory, so that's why we have almost the entirety of the 90s, which is nuts to think about, and a few shows in the early 2000s. But I do wonder if 5 years from now, how much Ultraman are we going to get? Are we going to get one per year? Are we getting two per year? I'm curious to see where this is going forward and where it goes, what happens with it going forward. But either way, like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to pre-order this. I'm going to pre-order the hell out of this. Because look, I want to support Ultraman in the US. This is awesome. All right, so either way though, tell me what you guys think if you're watching this live with us. Tell me what you think in the chat below. And if you are watching this on our YouTube channel, TG Productions, please comment down below. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me if you're going to be buying this set, if you've already pre-ordered it, and what show you would like from Mill Creek Ultraman. Me, if it's not Tiga, because I already have Tiga, even though again I would like a revision, I would say I would want Dyna, because yes, Dyna is a sequel, but not really. Still, though, I would like to be able to see Dyna. I think when it comes to movies, for me, I would really enjoy, and I mean really enjoy, being able to get some movies that are, even though they had subs on them when they came out in Japan, they still were kind of expensive and are expensive now, especially because they're most likely out of print. So something like Ultraman the Next, I would love to be able to buy again, even though I already have it, but buy again, because with Blu-rays, if you guys don't know, Blu-rays, we have the same region with Japan, so I can just pop that into most Blu-ray players and be good. But when it comes to DVDs, not the same region, and laptops only let you change your region 5 times. So that's great. Yeah, it's awesome. So anyway, either way, tell me what you think about all that stuff down below.